Ozubulu, a village in the southeastern region of what we today call Nigeria. There lived a young man named Akam. He lived with his father, mother, and 2 sisters. Akam came from a long line of warriors and hunters. His father, Azubuike, also known as Ibuanya, Hook Eye, was a great hunter, known all over the village and beyond. Akam's dream was to be like his father, to be the best hunter in Igbo land. Azubuike was the only son to his father, who had 5 girls. From a young age, he had to shoulder the responsibility of helping his father provide. During the farming season, he was there supporting and learning. When he was of age, his father taught him the art of being a hunter, all in the name of providing for their family. Since then, Azubuike has gone from strength to strength. He now has his own family. He started off small, in a small hut. Now his skills have earned him a small fortune. He now has a bigger compound and many titles from many traditional rulers. The earth had orbited around the sun 16 times. Akam, Azubuike's eldest and only son, was now of age to join his father as a hunter. Azubuike wanted Akam to start much earlier, but the cries of his mother, saying he was too young, stopped him. Akam was eager to join the ranks of feared hunters. He wanted to build his name in the village. Azubuike had just come back from the farm with Akam. They spent the whole day there. Akam would learn many lessons through the proverbs his father would share. They arrived home tired. Akam biaba. Jekute mili kango biko. Yes, Papa. Njideka biaba. Papa said no cholo mili. Njideka, Papa said he wants some water. Go and get him some water quickly. Akam, get up from there. I told you to go and get me water. Don't call your sister when I tell you something to do. Eh? Is there something wrong in your head? Yes, Papa. Ndo. Sorry. Akam's mother and 2 sisters came in to greet them both and to tell them that the food was ready. They all ate and shared stories about how their days went. Akam's 2 sisters liked to annoy him. Once the food was done, Akam's responsibility was to make sure that the compound was locked and secure before they all laid their heads down to sleep. The next day was a market day. Akam was excited. This was the day his father promised. He promised him that he would become a hunter. Papa, are you awake? Which weapons should I bring out from your collection, Papa? Akam's father walked onto the veranda. He looked at Akam and laughed. My son, you will not be needing any of those weapons today. All you need today is a feather and a broomstick. Akam was confused by his father's request. What could he possibly need with a feather? Azubuike took his time to get ready, much to Akam's frustrations. My son, there are skills you need to learn before you ever step foot in the forest. You need to be aware of your surroundings. Learn how to control your weight. Learn how to control your breath. The art of stealth, my son. So what I want you to do is to put this feather on your head and you must sweep the whole compound. You sweep the whole compound and make sure that feather does not fall off your head. You must not touch the feather with your hands. Your hands must firmly be fixed to the broom. Inugo, have you heard me? If you fail, you must complete the sweeping, but without the feather. You only have one try each day, Akam. One try. As soon as the feather falls down, we begin again tomorrow. Inugo, one try. Ubolofu. Akam's face was one of disappointment. He was eager to get to the forest. He wanted to have his first kill. Now he had to sweep the compound with a feather on his head. This must be a bad joke. Within a minute of starting, the feather had already fallen. Azubwike told him he would try again tomorrow. The second day, Akam huffed and puffed and the feather fell off his head again, straight away. Akam tried again for the whole week. It was the same thing. Over and over again, the feather kept falling. Akam's sisters will now come to the front of the house, just out of view of their father. Their favourite pastime was to make fun of Akam. When Mama would give them a break, they would come to the front of the house and sing songs to distract Akam. The great hunter of Ozubolo. Akam grew more and more frustrated. One day he lashed out. Papa, Keifedifa! What is this rubbish? It is impossible. Ukuku ptakita wekupu ifa from isim. When the wind comes, it is over. If somebody's calling my name, it is over. Even ikume, even to breathe, Papa. Even to breathe, Papa. If I dap one isim, it will just fall off my head. Papa, this feather is too light. Give me a heavier feather. You are finally starting to understand what it will take to complete this task. I have watched you over the last week, and you seem to be making the same mistakes over and over again. Why don't you try something new, my son? The key to success in controlling your breathing and lightening your steps. Agadi nwa dada ndana abo agui hobu no ono. Inigo, if an elderly woman falls twice, you count what she has in her basket. You need to find out why you keep falling. What are you carrying that's too much for you? Akam. Iye chuche. Genti. Listen to the wise words. Akam took his father's advice the next day. He managed to sweep half of the compound. This gave him confidence. After 2 weeks of trying, Akam could not get past the halfway point of the house. One market day, Akam told his dad that he could not do it. That if this is what it took for him to be a hunter, then it was not for him. Azubwike shook his head. He shook his head and he left. And he told Akam not to follow him that day to the farm. Akam stayed home, feeling depressed, feeling sorry for himself. He tried to get rid of that voice that kept telling him that he wasn't good enough, that the task was impossible. That evening, Akam's mother and sisters came back home. They all carried very big pots on their heads, big pots of water, while they carried bags of rice in their hands, balancing everything. Akam picked up the broom and the feather. He tried, He tried again, thinking about the words his father told him, being able to focus, being able to control his breathing. Akam almost completed the task. The next day he woke up early and tried again. His father was already preparing for the day of farming. He noticed Akam started trying again. A smile formed on his face. Akam finished sweeping the compound, and the feather was still on his head. He ran towards his father, screaming with jubilation. Papa! Papa! I've done it! Well done, my son. Email ofuma. Ogi lugo. Inugo. The time for the next stage of your training has come. Akam's father went to his room and brought out the leopard skin attire. It was what he wore for every hunt. He brought out another leopard skin attire and handed it to his son. Akam's face beamed with glee. He wasted no time in putting on the gear. They painted their bodies in white and wore masks on their heads to resemble the spirits, to resemble their ancestors that would help them on this hunt. Ikwado Chago. Akam, Ikwado Chago. Are you ready, Akam? Yes, Papa. I am ready. Kelummal. Where is your weapon? Kelin Kilicho, Jewote, Umwakankoeba. What weapon do you want? There's many weapons in this house. You must first pick which weapon you will use as a hunter. Do you understand? Papa, I want the spear. Akam, do you hear that? Inani fire. Genti, Ofuma. Kai Ponilo. Let's go outside so you can hear it properly. That is the sound of the Ogene. Before any hunt, we must pay respects to our ancestors, Nanai, and ask them to guide us and protect us. This is where we get our courage and our confidence from. It is spiritual. It is enchanting. Akam Genti, listen to me, my son. Muchianyaga and Genti, close your eyes and listen to me. Listen, relax, control your breathing. Take in the sound of the Ogene. Let it lift you up. This is where your strength and your energy will come from. Feel the intoxication and become fearless, my son. Inugo, feel your ancestors with you as you become a fearless hunter. Kaije oge lugo. Elo funi fenkuzuligo. Akam, Elofuna ifenkuzuligu. Do not forget what I have taught you, my son. Do not forget. Egbanya, Azubuike, nnukwu mmadụ. Anyị na-ekene gị. Hawkeye, the one and lonely. Hunters of all hunters. The traditional band greeted and held Azubuike before they set out on their hunt. They left for the hunt. Akam was excited, but tried to focus. No smile, no emotion, just a blank stare into the distance. They arrived in the forest. Akam watched his fathers and the others. They had more experience. They started setting up. They moved quietly between the trees. Any sudden movements would alert the antelopes and the bushmeat. The bushmeat was Azubuike's favorite meat to catch. It was sold for a lot in the market. Many people would refer to the meat as sweet. Ife toloto, ano toloto. Akam had seen enough. He had seen enough from his father. He had learnt enough. It was time for him to venture out on his own. He left them and went to a different part of the forest. He had his sights on an antelope. He tried to move quietly, but every step he took was heavier than the last. He left a trail of noise behind him. The antelope heard the noise and would run off. Akam, frustrated, started to wonder whether he would leave this hunt without a catch. Hours passed, and the night was about to fall. Akam crouched behind the tree. His sights were firmly on the antelope. He remembered all the lessons he had with his father. His father's words would play repeatedly in his mind. Akam picked up his spear, took a deep breath, then launched it. Bam! It was a direct hit. Antelope fell. Akam jumped for joy and ran towards his kill. He pulled the spear out and wiped the blood with his cloth. Akam picked up the antelope and placed it around his shoulders. He walked and walked and walked and headed back towards the meeting point where they started. His father was there waiting with the other hunters. There was an assortment of kills on the floor where they stood. Antelopes, bushmeat, monkeys, you name it. Akam's father had killed 5 antelopes and 3 large bushmeats. When they saw Akam walking towards them with the dead corpse on his shoulders, they all started singing and jumping for joy. Well done, my son. Kita akibu nwoke. Now you are a man. Tonight, we shall feast and celebrate your first kill as a hunter, becoming a man. Thank you, Papa. All the hunters today have helped me. Without you, I would not have had this kill today. Thank you. Bam bam kanku jeji oba. Drop by drop is how the palm wine fills the keg. Unity. Working together is how you will become successful, my son. So Inugo, bam bam kanku jeji oba. Akam had a huge smile on his face. He told his father exactly how the kill went as they loaded all the animals on the wheelbarrows. When they arrived at their compound, Azubuike shouted far and wide for anybody that would listen, saying that his son is now a hunter. He told his wife and daughters to prepare some food. Tonight, they will all celebrate. Njideka was Akam's younger sister. She always wanted to be a hunter just like her father. Her mum would scold her for the mere mention of such things. Njideka hates all the womanly tasks such as cooking, but was forced to do it because that's what she was expected of her. Seeing the praise Akam was getting ignited her flame even more. As her father went to change his clothes, she told her father she wanted to be a brave hunter just like him, and Akam, Azubuike laughed at his daughter. He stopped when he saw she was serious. My daughter, Oge Luo, when you are of age, I will give you the same lessons as your brother. Only if you pass them can you become a hunter. Ma kuzili ife niile nkuzili nwanne ya nwoke. Enugo, Njideka ran back to the kitchen, smiling. A few hours later, all the kindreds had arrived at Azubwike's compound. They came to celebrate Akam's success, the first skill as a hunter of the land. They drank and they danced all night. Hunting was not the only thing Akam was good at. He was a well-seasoned dancer.
Oje, wole. Kaibidozi.
Diego, hey! Wolie. Hi, Akam jie nwayo now. Iye bu komade eba, iye bu made eba, jie nwayo. Wolie. Oje, nwa maka agba egwu. Hey!
Afungwa. Ahoko iboli fe ka na ebe ni. Afungwa elodani. Bulita. Ahoko iboli fe ta. Negodu. Biggest hunter. Pompodo. Egwu ana. Chekete ụtọ. Ọ na-aba m n'obi. Jiri nwayọ biko nunu. Hey. Chekete.
From that day on, Akam went on every hunt with his father. He did well on his hunt, but it was nowhere near the level of his father. The most kills he would have was 2. There was one particular hunt Akam was not allowed to follow. Akam, ta wota iya no nunu. So someone eje. An me ofia. Today you must stay home. Only I will be going on this particular hunt. To the evil forest, my son. Ever since I have been a hunter, I have tried everything I can to kill Owurioji, the black leopard of Ozubolo. Eben Neje Junjo. This place I am going is very dangerous, and no novice hunters are allowed. You cannot attempt to join me on this hunt, for this hunt is one I must do alone. No groups allowed for Owurioji to be truly among the ranks, the greatest hunters. He must be killed alone. Owurioji must die today. Whomever kills Owurioji will receive the highest title from the Igwe, and that title will belong to this family. Yes, Papa. I understand. The sun had set, and it had been hours since Akam's father left for the hunt in the evil forest. Akam and his mother were worried. They called some of the local hunters who lived by to ask about Azubwike. They all said they haven't heard from him. Mama, I must go to the evil forest to find Papa. Akam was quickly shot down by the hunters. They told him his father is a great hunter, that he knew the risks. They tried to reassure them, but the expressions on their face told a different story. Another hour passed, and then there was a loud bang on their gate. Akam ran outside. It was one of the hunters. He shared the news that Azubwike had been injured by Owurioji during his hunt, told them that their father is with the Dibia, the local medicine man, getting treatment. Akam's mother collapsed to the floor. Akam picked her up, took her inside, told his sisters to look after their mother, as he ran back outside to meet the rest of the hunters. They made their way to see Azubwike. When they arrived, Azubwike's face was bloodied. He had some leaves around his left eye. The eye was still bleeding. Akam was horrified to see his father in such state. He walked up close to his father, stretched his hand out. His father grabbed his hand. Clearly still in pain, every movement he made were followed with a cry of agony. Papa, what happened? Owuru Oji was too smart for me. The hunter became the hunted. The forest was the darkest I have ever seen. Darker than usual, my son. I could barely see. Ibanya, Munga, hawk eye. The sharpest eyes in this village. But I could barely see anything this night. All I could hear was the movement. The black leopard was tracking me. Munga. I lost the element of surprise and was now retreating from where I was. I had to go back to the offense. This was a monumental mistake. Owuru Oji attacked. I could barely use my spear or my knife. My left eye was scratched and I was in pain I could not see. I thought Owuru Oji would finish me. I had to keep quiet, knowing he would attack me again. I hid in one of the caves until all movement had stopped. Then I made my way for hours, struggling to see, until one young man saw me and brought me here. So Papa, Owuru Oji is impossible to kill. Nothing is impossible, my son. If I were able, I now know what I need to do to kill him. But with this injury, my hunting days are over. I have lost my greatest gift as a hunter, my eyes. The medicine man was done with Akam's father. The other hunters carried their hero home. Akam helped as they sang songs honouring Azubuike. News had spread about what had happened to Azubuike. Ibanya, the great hunter. People stood outside their homes and joined in the singing. Akam was humbled by the respect his father had from all the villagers. This was what he wanted, to be respected like his father. Crowds gathered outside his compound. They brought gifts, yams, rice, beans, as a mark of respect for a fallen hunter who is no longer able to hunt. Two years had now passed since Azubuike lost his eyes to the black leopard. He was no longer a hunter. He just worked on his farm. Azubuike did not only lose an eye that day, but he lost a part of himself. His attitude and demeanour was never the same. He spent days often not saying a word to anybody. Being a hunter is what he knew. It was all he did all his life. Stopping at this time felt premature to him. All the glory was gone. On the other hand, Akam was now flourishing as a hunter. He was having much more kills than his father did at the same age. Azubuike was proud of his son. Akam was getting so much more praises for joining the ranks of fearless hunters. He stepped up to be the main provider of the family since his father's injury. Embraced the pressure with two hands. The youth of the community gave him his own title, Akago, Hand of a Tiger. Akam had developed his own strength. Akam had developed strength within his hands, being able to launch a spear more ferociously than anybody had ever seen in Ozobol. Speed and power instantly killing any prey. With his newfound fame came a level of arrogance. One evening, Akam came back from a hunt. He caught 5 antelopes, 3 bushmeats, and a buffalo. He sold them all and gave his father the money. Well done, my son. Inangwa, you are really trying. Biko ikagugum. Jekute mili kangwa to. My son, please, I'm very tired. Go and get me water, please, let me drink. Papa, I am no longer a child to be fetching water for you. Go dife. I'm not a child. Call your daughters. Did you not see how much animals I just killed and how much money I just gave you? If it wasn't for me, where would we be in this family? You must respect me, Papa, the way everybody else is respecting me. Eh? Akago. That's what they call me. Hand of the tiger. I should be using this hand to go and fetch you water, Papa. Papa, please respect me. As Wike shook his head in disbelief, he stood up himself and went to the back of the house to get himself the water. He was concerned that Akam's fame was getting to his head. There was still so much more to learn, but he was too focused on the small success that he had gained so far. Azubuike tried on many occasions to teach his son about the skills needed to become a greater hunter, not just a good one. Akam felt like he was competent enough and that he needed nothing more, nothing else he could learn from his father. There was nothing else he could teach him. One evening, Akam came to his father. Papa, tell me more about Owuri Oji. Why, my son? Because I believe I believe I can kill that black leopard. I am ready, Papa. My son, Gemunti, listen to me. I have been a hunter for 20 years. And the last 5 years I've been trying to kill Owuri Oji. I couldn't. I believe you have the skills and capability to kill that black leopard one day. But not yet. There's so much more for you to learn, my son. Jingwaya ogeluo iyemenifa. When the time comes, you can do this thing, my son. Papa, what are you talking about? I'm already surpassing what you did at your age when you was a hunter. If you name kita, kalale ifi neme ogai wobo. What you are doing, what I am doing now is more than what you did when we were the same age, Papa. I have surpassed you as a hunter. Tell me what I need to know about Owuri Oji. Let me kill this leopard for you, Papa. Just look at how many kills I have, Papa. Please don't tell me you are jealous of your son. You are just jealous because you are now an old man that can no longer hunt. Do not project your failures on me, Papa. Let me shine. Let me kill the animal that took your eye, that stopped you from being a hunter. Let me avenge you. Papa, Akam, listen to me. I will not contribute to the death of my son. You need to learn more about hunting. And I have said all I will have to say on this matter. Never mind, Papa. I will do it on my own. I will bring the head of Owuri Oji here, and then you will respect me the same way everybody in this village and beyond respects me. Akago. Nwata bunye na yenu, ngwongwo na ngwongwo anwoshe ya anya. A child that insults his father, unknown to him, is bringing terrible destruction onto himself. Akam, I have warned you. A few days later, Akam was sharpening his spears and machetes. He had his full leopard skin attire on as he left for the hunt. Azubuike warned him again not to go, but Akam ignored him. Akam, Gemunti, Ejena Najofia. My son, listen to me. Do not go to that evil forest for this hunt. Njinji enwere onye ndumodu yesolu onye nwulangu we na. A fly that has no counselor will follow the corpse to the grave. Akam left. He arrived at the evil forest. It was quiet, not like the other places he normally used to hunt. He quietly walked around trying to get a sight of Owuru. While back at the house, Azubuike was worried. Several hours had passed and it was now getting late. He wished he was wrong about everything, and that Akam was indeed a special hunter who needed no further guidance. All he wanted for his son to be okay, to come back in one piece. There was banging on the gate. Azubuike slowly made his way to the gate. When he saw who it was, he knew it was not good news. The messenger greeted him and told him that Akam had been injured by Owuru Oji. He told him he was with the medicine man and that he was not awake. Akam's mom came. The news was repeated. She screamed, and so did Akam's sisters. Azubuike got his walking stick and followed the messenger. People in the village looked at him sorrowfully as they walked. The news had spread about Akam. Father and son experiencing the same fate. When they arrived, Akam had deep cuts across his chest and stomach. He was bleeding. Azubuike could barely look at him. The medicine man had told him that his chances of living were 50-50, that he would need to stay with him day by day to treat him in that place. Where can I sit? I will be here by his side until he wakes up. My son will not die. Azubuike sat down by his son. He told the messenger to tell his wife what is happening. The medicine man agreed for Azubuike to stay, but requested more money for the treatment. Night after night, day after day, Azubuike stayed by Akam, willing and praying for the gods to let his son live. His wife came every day with food for him. She also brought some for the medicine man. Azubuike paid the medicine man very well and told him to make his son a priority. After 7 days, Akam started moving his left arm. The medicine man woke up Azubuike, who was sleeping next to Akam. He cleaned his eyes. Akam was awake. He saw his father by his side, and then he started to cry. Azubuike held his son. Akam, oya dimma. Nso wado udodu. There is no problem, my son. Everything will be okay. Papa, Baalam, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Even after everything I have done and said. Papa, you're still here by my side, Papa. Please, Papa, please. I'm sorry. Papa, Pico, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything I said. Azubuike wiped Akam's tears with his hands. My son, I am your father, and all I ever wanted is the best for you. My grandfather was a good hunter. My father was a great hunter. I became a greater hunter because of the lessons I learned from my father. Now I want you to be an even greater hunter than me, and you are already getting there. But Ginti, Ofuma, you must listen and you must hear, my son. Losing my sight has shown me the importance of my other senses, especially hearing. There is power in hearing. Inugo, listen. Don't just learn by what you see. Learn by what you hear. Listen to people. What they say, how they say it, their tone. You will learn the truth in the tone of people's voices, my son. It's not all that give you praise that care about you, my son. Papa, I have heard. Papa, I'm sorry. Azubuike held Akam's hand. A wise man will learn from his mistakes. A wiser man will learn from his father's mistakes. To be continued.